Hi everyone, my name is Janos, creator of Pinoy Tech Dad. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Huawei Nova 7i. I want to make this review unique in the sense that I will try to give you my opinion as a person who has never owned a Huawei phone before and is heavily reliant on Google services. First, let's discuss the design. The Huawei Nova 7i comes in a plastic body, which explains why this is lighter than your standard phones. It weighs around 186 grams and it's very comfortable using one-handed. It has a 6.4-inch display and a punch-hole camera on the upper left corner. At the bottom, you'll find a down-firing speaker, a USB Type-C port, and a headphone jack. And on the right side, you'll find a power button with an integrated fingerprint scanner. You can also find the volume rockers here. On the left side, you have a SIM card slot as well as an expandable memory card slot. Do take note, however, that Huawei uses their proprietary memory card, so your existing micro SD cards won't work here. You then have a plastic back panel with a quad camera setup, and it's available in 3 colorways. You have the Midnight Black, Sakura Pink, and the one that we have here is the Crush Green. Overall, the Nova 7i feels really good in the hand, and I'm not in the heavier, feels more premium crowd, so I really like that this is relatively lightweight compared to most phones out in the market right now. Performance-wise, the Nova 7i definitely sits in the middle of the phone hierarchy. If we rely on the Kirin 810 processors Antutu benchmark, I initially got around 270,000 points right out of the box, but after installing an update, the benchmark points went up to 296,000. Now, whether that translates to performance gain, I really couldn't tell. Either way, my experience was smooth and I never had any issues with slowdowns, lags, or delays in apps opening. So as a first-time Huawei user, I was really impressed. The apps were snappy, the animations were smooth, and I really didn't have much of a learning curve using the Nova 7i's EMUI. But now it's time to address the elephant in the room. As I mentioned, we're gonna take a look at the Huawei Nova 7i as a first-time user that relies heavily on Google services. And if you haven't been paying attention to development in tech, specifically with Google and Huawei, then you should know that Google services do not work on Huawei phones, starting with the Mate 30 Pro last year. Now, don't get it twisted, Huawei still runs on Android 10, but they are no longer allowed to use Google services. So there's no more Google Play Store on this, and if you love your YouTube app on your phone, that's not gonna work here at all, even if you install it using an APK file. You'll be forced to watch YouTube on a browser, which, to be honest, really sucks as the experience is quite clunky and the YouTube app is definitely 100% more intuitive. And if you're a Gmail app user, you can't use that here as well. However, there is a very simple workaround, and that is to integrate your Gmail account with Huawei's email app. So thank God for that. Huawei boasts that it now has the 3rd largest app store in the world. However, apps like Facebook, Netflix, Call of Duty, and other Filipino favorites are still nowhere to be found. Luckily, this can be easily resolved by installing APK Pure or other third-party app installers, but if you're not a techie, this is just another unnecessary step to get basic apps. Anyway, once you install those apps, they do work just like they normally would if you got them from the Google Play Store. So, as a Google Services user, would I be able to adjust to Huawei's Google-less ecosystem? Well, yes, but that's because I'm a power user, so these small inconveniences are something that I can handle easily. However, if I'm a regular phone user or just a casual user, I would want my experience to be as smooth as possible, and I wouldn't want to go through any unnecessary steps before I can fully enjoy my phone. So if you're a regular consumer, this is something that you should heavily consider. Now, at 6.4 inches, the Nova 7i's LCD display is considered to be on the smaller size, which is kind of crazy because this is actually still really big, but it is a damn good display. Sure, it doesn't have the high contrast capability of an AMOLED screen, but the colors are still punchy and vibrant. And at Full HD resolution, images look sharp and motion looks fluid. In addition, Huawei continues to use their LTPS or low temperature polysilicon LCDs, and what it does is it gives the Nova 7i larger pixel densities and lower power consumption. And I honestly enjoyed the Nova 7i's display during my time with it. So the current trend right now is that phones should have at least a quad camera setup, and the Nova 7i follows that trend. It has a 48 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, a 2 megapixel macro lens that no one really asked for, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. You also get a 16 megapixel front camera. Now let's check out a few samples before I give you my verdict. When it comes to taking photos, I was really impressed with the Nova 7i's main camera. The images looked really sharp, especially when taking photos in well-lit areas. It also performs well during nighttime when using night mode, but the results won't blow you away. When it comes to video, unfortunately, you're limited to only 1080p 30 frames per second. The quality is decent, but nothing to write home about. Plus, in an age where we're slowly shifting to 4K, it would have been nice to have at least 4K 30 frames per second available on this. The camera menu or interface leaves a lot to be desired. Compared to other phone brands that I've tested, this probably has the clunkiest user interface when it comes to camera. And it's a shame because I really like the camera on the Huawei Nova 7i. The Nova 7i is one of the best mid-range gaming phones that I've tested so far. The Kirin 810 processor is quite capable and I had no issues playing PUBG, Mobile Legends, Call of Duty, and other popular games. The back panel did get slightly warm after prolonged hours of gaming, but it's pretty much your typical experience with most phones when playing games. The only minor problem that I had was with its slightly smaller display. I found myself mistakenly pressing the trigger buttons on several occasions when playing PUBG, as I've gotten used to playing games on phones with bigger screens. Now, aside from that, I'm sure you'll enjoy playing games on the Nova 7i. Surprisingly, even though the Nova 7i only comes with a 4200 mAh battery, it actually lasts a long time. I was able to get 8 to 9 hours of screen on time regularly, and I guess the Kirin 810 processor and the LTPS display helped a lot with its power efficiency. Now, when you do need to recharge your battery, you'll have the 40-watt charger available, and it can supercharge your phone from single digit to 100% in just a little over an hour. Alright, so real talk. I like the Nova 7i. It's a really good phone even though it's missing a vital part of what I need as a content creator, which is the Google services. And that's the thing, I'm looking at this phone as a Google user. For example, as a heavy YouTube user, I really missed having the app because I can't watch full screen YouTube videos on this. Now on top of that, my home is also automated with Google Assistant, so if you're in the same situation, it is really hard to consider the Nova 7i. Now, for those who can live without Google services integrated with their phones, I am absolutely certain that you'll love everything that this phone can do for you. The performance, the good display, the long battery life, the sharp camera, and the overall build quality will delight fans of Huawei's Nova series of phones. But again, I must emphasize that if you're a Google user or if you rely heavily on Google services, this might not be the phone for you. Now, if you want more information about the Nova 7i, do check out Sulatech Reviews and Gadget Sidekick for their in-depth reviews. Also, I'll try to come up with a comparison between the Nova 7i and the Redmi Note 9s, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell button so you can watch more videos like this in the future. That's it for today, guys. Keep safe and have a great day.